Hey everyone, me and Buster Green here. If you guys saw my previous video, I just reviewed the game Gundam Evolution, which this week I was a beta tester on. I tested the console for the server test, whatever. Anyway, so let me quickly rank all the units in Gundam Evolution by how powerful I thought they were, based on me playing as them in the game. This is a weird game. Like, this game doesn't really seem to use, like, typical Gundam logic where, like, the Zaku is weaker than the Sazabi. In this game, the Zaku is much stronger than the Sazabi, which is really, really confusing if you're a Gundam diehard. But I mean, if you're not, like, a Gundam fan, I guess who the fuck cares? So that kind of makes me think that fans didn't really make this kind of game. By the way, I'm going to start this video by shitting on the units that I was not good at / I did not figure out how to use. If you are good with these units, no personal offense, just in the 3 days I had the beta, I couldn't figure them out and they seemed horrible to me. But anyway, let me just start at the bottom of the list. So there's 14 units in Gundam Evolution. And unfortunately, coming in at number 14 is the fucking Sazabi. I am so disappointed in the Sazabi in this game. By all accounts, this is one of the worst video game depictions of the Sazabi I've ever seen. They ruined the Sazabi in Gundam Evolution. They made it so it can't use its funnels except as a once per match special kill move. And the Sazabi is like all about using its funnels. On top of that, they made a very brazen choice in this game to clearly separate units into just shooters and just melee, with very few units having access to both. So the Sazabi can fling around these beam axes, but they're so inaccurate that you're never gonna hit anything. So the Sazabi is just fucked as this fat, huge target beam shotgun unit. And if they were going to make it into that, they could have just used the O, because that's what the O is. Like, this is so wrong. The Sazabi at least has some decent defense stats and some decent HP, but it's otherwise just a huge target. And I had like a great time picking on Sazabi players, but it's a bad unit to use, and I want to just say it's ridiculous. Like, the only thing I can say good about it is one of the alternate skins is the camo paint job from this random piece of 1980s Sazabi artwork, and I respect the shit out of that. A lot of the alternate skins in the game are either amazing or very lame, but this is one of the most amazing ones that made me happy. Nonetheless, the fact that the Sazabi is a funnelless giant-ass target is so fucking shameful, and that's why the Sazabi is the worst unit in this game. Next up at number 13 is the Unicorn Gundam Marasai. This one gets second worst status because I stared at this unit for like 20 fucking minutes and I just could not even remember that this unit was in this game as I was staring directly at it. Like, why would you put the Marasai in this game but not include its red Zeta Gundam color scheme as an alternate, especially when the game is highly emphasizing that winning alternate skins is like the main thing to do in the game? Anyway, aside from that, the Marasai isn't terrible fighting-wise. It's kind of a beam sniper unit, but it's just a much worse GM sniper, and it's got a lasso, but that's weird. Alright, moving on from the Marasai. At number 12 is the Asshimar. Now, I'm currently giving the Asshimar rank 12, third worst in the game, based on the fact that the Asshimar is one of the only two transformable flying mobile suits in this game, and right now that's the only thing it has going for it. The only thing it can do special is it can fly. Unfortunately, with the way the game is currently structured and the fact it only has 2 maps, there's no real good place or time where it can fly around to take advantage of its power. I might recategorize the suit to a higher position later in the game if they introduce more levels or better mechanics where it can take advantage of this only thing it can do. Or maybe it's reworked so it can attack while it's flying. Then it could actually be kind of dangerous. But for right now, it's a weird gimmick suit with a gimmick that has no place in the game. So, stupid. Okay, number 11. Number 11 is the Earth Federation equivalent of the Sazabi. Now, you would think that would be the new Gundam, right? No, it's the fucking GM. The GM in this game is a defensive powerhouse. Its main job in this game is to block shots with its big-ass shield. Kind of weird. Definitely better suits they could have chosen for that. Like, I don't know, GM shield guy? Anyway. I barely touched this unit. It just seemed to be a worse version of the Sazabi that wasn't as cool. And it technically should be worse than the Sazabi, but guess what? Because this game is stupid, it's ranked slightly above the Sazabi. Because even though I was expecting the GM to be the worst unit in the game, it's not. The Sazabi is the worst unit in the game. And I'm borderline crying that they made the Sazabi so bad. But the GM is actually better than the Sazabi because the GM actually has some weird niche support skills that actually make it a smart use if you know how to strategize and use those skills. Next up at number 10 is the Pale Rider. I guess the Pale Rider has been super popular lately. I'm surprised to see it in this video game, but what's really nuts about it in this game is it's the default unit. You get forced into using it in the tutorial mission, and every time you start a round, the game forces you to pick it first, and the round won't start until everyone else picks something else. So that's kind of nifty. Now that being said, I kind of hate the depiction of the Pale Rider in this game, because I consider the Pale Rider to be a very vicious melee unit, and instead they made it a supporter shooter like the normal GM. I think that's a huge waste. I feel like the way the suit is set up, it's not really a Pale Rider setup, it's more like a ground GM, or hell, even a Blue Destiny setup. Like, this suit should be the Blue Destiny. It's like not doing justice to the Pale Rider. It's just disappointing, so that's another one I don't feel good about. Coming in at number 9 is the RX-78-2 Gundam. Okay, they didn't make this Gundam terrible, but for some reason one of its special moves is the ability to block, which I feel like just should be a standard ability in this game, but instead only the Gundam can do it. It also has the Gundam Hammer as a melee move, making it one of the only units in the game that can satisfactorily do both melee and ranged attacks. Also, one of its alternate skins is a red skin, which gives me vague 7-Eleven Gundam fixed figuration vibes. That's kind of fun. Okay, so that's the last suit I was kind of down on. From here on out, I like the rest of the suits, and these rankings better reflect the suits that I was using in the beta, and the ones I used the most and liked the most. So coming in at number 8 in the middle of the field is the Turn A Gundam. So the Turn A is alright. They didn't make it as great as I think the Turn A should be. If anything, the Turn A lost a lot of its thunder to the RX-78-2 because that got the Gundam Hammer. But they did make the Turn A in this game interesting in that they made it a bulky HP regeneration unit. Now, the regeneration has its limits, but on top of that, they still give it a beam rifle, and if you have a player who's good at dodging, then it becomes quite hard to kill because of the regeneration factor, unless you corner it. On top of that, the Moonlight Butterfly is a nice instant death special for it, and that's why I ranked it at number 8. It's a very nice, middle-of-the-road, average unit sitting precisely in the middle of the playing field. At number 7, we have the Gundam Exia. Now, Exia is one of the main melee units in this game, of which there are only 2. It's cool, it's like the more versatile of the 2 options. It has an extremely useful giant death sword and some smaller throwing knives for range coverage. That being said, it's a pretty weird unit because if you sneak up on an enemy, you can easily impale them and get the kill, but if they see you coming, they're going to shoot you in the head and you're going to die. So sometimes I'd have a really fun time playing as the Exia, and sometimes I'd have a very bad time playing with it. It really depends on how savvy your opponent was on any given day. I'm also a huge fan of the Matrix paint job alternate skin you can unlock, but I never unlocked it myself because I had a hard time finding matches. At number 6 is the Barbatos. So, like I was saying, the Exia was a little tricky as the only melee unit. The Barbatos, on the other hand, is a much easier melee unit because it has a big fucking mace that's very inaccurate but good enough, and it has superior mobility to the Exia. However, on the flip side, it has no range coverage at all, but who needs it, I guess? Now, the Barbatos is the ultimate melee suit in this game, and I had a very fun time with it. Again, except when I was fighting very savvy people who knew if they shoot in the head, then it can't really do that much. Also, for some reason, this game included a Titan's color scheme alternate Barbatos. Very cool. And like the mace. Coming in at number 5, GM Sniper 2. So this game is an Overwatch clone, and like every typical first-person shooter game, it needs to have a typical first-person shooter sniper unit. And for that, we have the GM Sniper 2. It fills the role almost too well, and it's a super video game sniper character, and it's outstandingly overpowered for what a GM2 is supposed to be. Now, I racked up kills in this bad boy. I even got like a 9 kill combo in this thing. It's just very, very OP. My favorite thing to do in this thing was kill Suzabi players because, like I said, the Suzabi is too large and too slow and just too unenthusiastic. So, on top of that, with the lack of ranged weapons on the Suzabi, like picking off the Suzabi with a GM2 was just too easy to do. My only fault for the GM2 is that it lacks any cool skins to make itself even cooler, so I feel like they could have improved that. Next up at number 4, the gun tank. Now, as cool as the GM Sniper 2 was, the gun tank is even more overpowered because it has its typical long-range cannons, but it has these hand Gatling cannons that are freaking nasty in this game. The hand Gatling cannons have infinite ammo, no cooldown, and they do a shit ton of damage. So the gun tank is out here doing beatdowns left and right, and I'm like really impressed. On top of that, for some reason, it's like ultimate move is just the core fighter comes out and kamikazes. Oh my god, I just realized now that is Ryu Jose killing himself. Wow, that is a deep cut. Wow. Okay, but despite that, yeah, otherwise the gun tank is super OP in this game, and yeah, wow, huh. Oh my god, Ryu, I feel sad now. Okay. Number 3 is the Methus. Okay, so I had an amazing success as the Methus. Interesting thing about this game is it acts as your basic multiplayer girl, healer, nurse character. It can fly around like the Asshimar, but once again, there's no point in that at this time. It also can form this very weird symbiotic relationship with another character where it just kind of hangs out with that character and keeps it healthy. But interestingly, it gets credit for all the kills the other character makes. So if you get stuck in a run in this game, you can literally just play as the Methus and sponge off a better player's kill record, which is very weird, but I'm into that. At number 2, the second best unit in this game is the fucking Zaku 2. Topping the fucking list is the Zaku 2. In nearly every battle I played, the Zaku 2 was the winningest MVP. Because this game was not made with sensible Gundam logic, and therefore the Zaku 2's machine gun is overpowered and can just mow down dudes left and right like a machine gun. What the fuck is up with this game? Strongest Zaku in history. Okay, I don't want to keep talking about this. Lol, moving on. And lastly, at number 1 is the Dom Trooper. For the epic amounts of shit I gave this unit when I first saw it in the trailer, the Dom Trooper turned out to be the fucking best unit in this game. And once again, this unit should not be in this game. I don't know why it's the Seed Gundam representing unit. It was a minor unit in Gundam Seed Destiny. They picked this over the Justice Gundam, the Freedom Gundam, the frickin' Sword Astray Gundam. Why? I don't know, but fuck it. This Dom is fucking deliriously insane. It has an OP beam railgun. It has the classic Dom bazooka. It has high speed, high maneuverability hovering. It can run circles around literally every unit in the game. And on top of that, it drops fucking landmines. I ended up getting more kills by just leaving landmines everywhere than I ever got shooting anyone in the face. So the Dom Trooper ended up becoming the ultimate troll unit that could just like run circles around people, surround them with landmines, and then like shoot them in the face afterwards. By all accounts, and by my judgment, the Dom Trooper was the strongest unit in the game, and that's fucking weird, but here we are. So that's my rankings on Gundam Evolution. I also reviewed the whole game. If you're more curious about this game, you can check out my full review, or otherwise I did 2 live streams where I played the beta on my stream. Check those out too if you're really curious. Alright, that's hopefully the last I have to say about Gundam Evolution until it's out and there's a major update. See you guys next time, and be out.